Time to go out on the tweeter and let the people know that things are happening. And alrighty. Splat many enemies for me, says Avery. Oh wow, y'all are already here. I was just out on the tweeter letting people know we're here, and you guys are like, oh hey, we're here. That's cool. I like that. That's neat. Okay. Has it really been a month since the last sub? That's insane. It feels like it was just like last week that happened again. Thank you, Devi. You say first, but you were sadly not. Yes, this is true. Devi was first. Devi goes Zoom. Hi, Chibi! Glad you could make it. Cannot outspeed Doovie. The pom-poms are... No, the pom-poms are there. The pom-poms are there. They probably aren't there for people who weren't already here, though. Like, you don't see the record of everything that happened in the chat before you got there. It all kind of files in afterwards, so Koru missed it. So I guess it was kind of an act of arrogance for Koru to say that they got first in the first place. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Yes, we have a Chibilani and a Chibi-Leafeon. 2 Chibis. I am going to DM Xeon and see if they are available. Because we have no Simon and no Avery today. It's been really busy on the marketing side, so they are unable to join for today. Okay. All right. Didn't finish Clapples play. I haven't played any of my placements. It just reset yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So, I mean, if y'all want to see, I need to go back to school. I can't spell. Is it here? No. Is there a way to see your ranks? Now that I think about it, I don't know that there is on here. I think you might have to go onto the, the app. Excuse me. Because it shows it to you after they reset, but then at that point they just stop, so. What's the map list here? No Avery, no Chicken King? Nope. The chickens are sadly absent on this day. Ooh. Kelp Dome on Clamblets. That's gross. We've got Sturgeon Tower, which is standard, and Muscle Forge Tower, which is not bad. X, and then right bumper. I mean, that shows you that I'm X rank. That doesn't show you any of my numbers. So yeah, guys, I'm X rank. Yeah, not much more than that as far as I can tell. Unless, oh! No, those are just the maps. Those are just the maps. Never mind. I thought. Alright, anyway. I'm gonna warm up a little bit. I'm waiting on Xeon to respond here. If they don't respond in the next couple of minutes, then we might just skip the league session and go right into the VOD review. it's a little bit unusual of circumstances at the moment, so might just hop right into that. But let's see, what would I play on either of these? Could do like K-Shot, I guess. Actually, for this, I probably want to do K-Pro. Warm up the K-Pro. It's been a bit. Alright, I just got a work message, but I will attend to that shortly. Oh man, this is feeling weirdly good. Just making sure, you might be hearing the Slack notifications. All right, cool. So it's not an emergency, so I can handle continuing to stream here. But yeah, Devi, I'd be down to twin, or if we do get, you know, a full stream squad together, we could do that as well and get some call-outs going. I usually like to try and like reserve a spot for the person being VOD reviewed. It's just I don't know if Xeon is going to be responding here. The Squire is not required. He's all made squires. Devi trying to be the Lieutenant Chicken Commander. All right. You know what? I'll open a quad. Let's just see if this fills up with enough people. Yeah, hop in. First come, first serve. Whoever's able. Debbie says, like my new profile pic. New profile pic. Is that on Discord? Is that you, but with cookies, onion rings in the background? Is that what I'm looking at? Oh no, on Switch. I wasn't able to see it on Switch. Okay, I'm gonna switch off of the K-Pro if that's what we're gonna be doing here. What is this? This is Tower, Sturgeon, and Muscle Forge. Let's do this. Oh. Never mind then. Back we go. Playing a little bit of musical weapons here with Chibi. Yes, this is the plan for Watercolor's tag here, I think. That is the Japanese character for wa, which I'm sure will make, well, has already actually made Fia very happy. I was just DMing her about it recently. And anyone who wants to VC that's a part of this stream lobby here, feel free to hop in the waiting room voice channel, the Bravous community Discord. I guess I should mention, hey, we're Bravous and we have a community Discord. Our It's largely consisting of people who have competed in events that we've run. A chance for people who play those games to meet people from other schools or other communities, to be able to play with them as well. Okay, everyone wants the same weapons, so we're gonna go with just gonna do this. Yeah, we're gonna do this. This is how it's gonna be. All right, we figured it out. We have a comp. Oh boy. He's always curly fries. There are some that have onion rings, okay? It's hard to see that one. I know he's done onion rings before. Okay. Squeezer will be up next. I think someone was a fan of my Squeezer. It might have actually been Heka last time. I guess they're trying to see it again. Alright. Nobody's in the voice chat right now, so I won't worry too much about the callouts, but if someone does decide to join us. Okay, they have to run away. So now we invade. Oh, no way. That didn't... Oh, that's so unfortunate. I have to get out of this. Yep. Not gonna lie, spent a little while there thinking that this is tower control. Or thinking that this was a Clan Blitz. It is tower control. Oh man, they're gonna throw this at me even though I'm not out actually over there. Alright, that's a wipe. Them. I can't do an awful lot about them. There we go. There we go. Debbie can do an awful lot about them. That is a classic example of a zoning ultimate. Did it splat anybody? No. Does it matter that it didn't splat anybody? I don't think so. That gave us all the time we needed to push through the checkpoint, and nobody got hurt until they started flanking around it. That's a different story, but... Cool. Very poggers. Oh, no, I ran into the wall. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I had special, too. Foil Squeezer and Bamboo Mark III are the same weapon. Did you use bamboo to save your fingers? Unfortunately, that was not what... Well, no, fortunately, actually. I'm much better on the Squeezer, I would think. Come on, drop down. You know you want to. I'm gonna hit in the back. But I am scoring points. Oh, I'm not gonna get hit in the back. There we go. Oh. Oh, I was so close to checkpoint too. That's unfortunate. Alright, I'm gonna need to mute Slack notifications. I apologize for those coming through. Especially if any of you actually use Slack for work, because man, that would be confusing. Oh boy. They really should have thrown that at lockers. I don't know why they threw it here. That's the problem of trying to aim your booyah directly at someone instead of putting it in the place where they want to be, where you don't want them to be. Darn. I got some very weak chip damage, but it's not going to be enough to get them out of there. Good push. That's exactly what we needed. Hey, you wanna not? I'm about to die. There were 3 people over there. I mean, I guess we don't really need to do that much, but at that point I was pretty hard committed. And I'm alive. Today I learned that I can solo a booyah bomb with this weapon. I was today years old. Forge does have less than squeezer range. I definitely think, you know, any simplification of one weapon to being basically this, but, you know, another category. Like, all of those sorts of things are always going to be overgeneralized. Like, there are definitely nuances. Know how to signal people, but I need someone else to take tower when it goes under their trench. Hey Devi, you know how you, and also hi Chibi, you know how you could potentially communicate that with us? It would be through the voice chat that we are in. There is Doovie. Hello Doovie.
Find voice chat now, only $9.99 a month.
I cannot hear the other person, but I can hear Gem loud and clear, so
Okay.
I'll have to fix that.
E-leader left snipe, just watching me.
Is this better?
Yes, much.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
E-leader is literally just standing on snipe and stopping me from stopping the tower.
Well, I'm just gonna try and prevent something here. There we go.
Nice.
I got Scooby.
The E-leader is literally still just standing there with their laser prepped and ready.
Oh, well. They're just using it to be threatening at this point. Alright, we got a roller on tower. Not anymore.
E-leader down. Squiffer down.
I got it. You can go forth. Right above you, Chibi.
Yeah.
There you go. One top left.
We have control of their pit.
Roller and leader top left.
Squiff got me.
Swift should be dead. Swift is dead. I am dodging roller.
They're throwing bubbles from there.
So I see. Oh dear.
It's kind of crazy how successful that strategy was, considering they were literally standing still.
Yeah, they just look threatening.
I mean, they were threatening. Like, I tried to challenge the tower and they shot me.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a bait.
Is my audio too loud or too quiet or anything?
Sounds good to me.
It sounds good now.
I'm gonna drop them down a little bit because I keep everyone at 75% on Discord for the purposes of OBS, but I think it's fine.
Okay.
All of a sudden get 5. Oh, that's why. Jamie and I were talking about some Genshin thing in DM, and then he goes, "Oh shoot, Squid School on my way." And there's Jamie.
Hi, Jamie. We are tracking your movements. Devi is
Hi,
giving us all of
Junior.
the information about your habits.
I just thought that was funny.
We shall use these in our calculations against you. Why?
What?
It's it actually did not permit you goof for bullying. That was
I
the
was like-
reason it cited.
I can't see the reason, but when I saw it come in red, I'm like, why is it going in red?
Goof is like sheltered second grader levels of insult. I cannot believe that it is that strict.
Well, there you go.
Thank goofness. Exactly. I mean, how dare you, Smidge? Grr. Oh, nope, grr, that's a threat. Sorry. Gonna have to ban you for that one. Ah, we did not get to play the video game.
No, we did not.
Let's try again. Use bamboo Mark II with thermal ink and the anti-meta. Whoa. There it is. Hi, Drusilla. And hi, Reborn. All the coolest Splat gamers gaming under one roof.
And the
should-
pom-poms.
We should take that and use it as our slogan. I can just picture a cheesy commercial with that being read in an over-energetic voiceover. It'd be beautiful. I remember taking a tour once from, I think, the National Mint in Washington, D.C. And the tour guide was speaking so unbelievably slowly. You would think that they were slowed down in, like, in editing, you know, sound editing. Because they had a pretty low voice, too, but it was just like... The mint is where the money is printed. Like, it was literally that slowly that she was speaking.
It must have been a...
I
It must have had to stall for time.
I guess I'm like, maybe they teach them that if you're going to stammer or mess something up, you just talk slower. And they took that so much to heart that it just became speaking like this.
Is it for... I wonder if it's for, like, international purposes, or if it's just... I don't know.
But, like, I don't think it's even making it easier necessarily. Because
I don't think it is.
it's so
Mid one.
bizarrely, like,
Nice. 2.
out of a normal register and everything. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's get out in front of them to the right. So
Hydra's behind the canisters.
Good job, good job.
Hydra's on snipe peeking. Careful if you that jump. Nice.
Thank you. Dropping into court. Got one.
Blaster's watching that. Nice. Someone's coming out left their street.
Yeah, it's the Flingza. They dropped into court.
They're flanking around.
Got Flingza. Down to missiles though. Kind of ran right into
I don't
those.
know where to look. I might just have to. Ignore that. Just ignore that. I'm fleeing. I thought I was dead. Let's pop this. Left side one. They're on the ramp, Gem. Oh, there's two.
There was a second.
I didn't see the second until they popped up and flung.
Hydra on great, 2 on right.
Oh, no.
Are you getting pushed on left?
I'm getting pushed on spinner.
Sorry, missiles behind you. Oh, what? There were more missiles there? I don't know where those came from. Flingza in our base. They're over on left, sharking. They missiled.
They're in our base. I can't leave base.
I'm trying to get tower. Okay, tower's stopped, but they're right behind it.
Yeah, they're booyahing it, so that's probably game.
Yeah, it's game.
Yeah, I got locked out. Sad.
If you just close your eyes, it's like the missiles aren't even there. I agree. This is the way I live my life.
Yeah, I got horribly locked out afterwards.
Lots of missiles.
It wasn't the missiles, there was just a guard above my head, and I can't shoot right above my head. You did throw a burst bomb at it, but then you left it.
Yeah, like... If I take all the time that I need to clear that out, the tower's just gonna get to the end before I can do anything. That's
I would have rather let it get to the next checkpoint than anything, because then we have time to focus the checkpoint afterwards, because it takes more time to get.
Even when I just rushed straight into the tower, there were like 9 points left when I knocked them off. They would have KO'd, I think, if I hadn't gotten there.
This is beforehand.
Oh, okay.
It was just getting down into pit when this happened. You threw a booyah or a burst bomb onto the snipe and then just kind of hit.
Well, what would you have wanted me to do? Because I don't have range to hit that guy.
You should have came up anyway because we forced him into a booyah. I almost had him shredded.
Oh, okay. Okay, watch. Okay, we're 2 down on right. Back up, back up.
Oh, jeez.
1 on spinner and 1 in mid.
They're on left already.
K-Pro's watching me right. K-Pro down.
Watch that wall.
Machine is on spinner. Oh, they're 2 watching me. I'm down. On my ouch. Over spinner.
Got one.
Good stuff, just machine.
Left side wing. Jumped out.
They jump.
Charger top left. Charger's building right. Oh, there's one in mid.
Got their 52.
Machine's in mid.
1 on their wall. It's K-Pro. I'm down to machine in their court.
Yeah, they're pushing with specials.
You're so close to checkpoint.
There you go. I sacrificed myself for checkpoint.
Yeah.
I saw someone coming and I got a little too antsy. Sorry.
No worries. We got it in the end. Okay, that's another one down. We might be able to keep the push going. I have bomb rush.
Okay. However, we don't have the people. Oh, now we do. Okay, I'll stay.
Machine in court.
We're at Charger's
Charger's under pressure. Yeah. They jumped out. 2 in their court. Nice. 1 more. Good stuff.
Oh, the charger! I didn't die to it, but there's a pro there. All
Might
right,
just want to jump out with that.
Yeah, just come back to mid and hold. Oh, unfortunate. Oh, I was in booyah.
Alright.
That's a booyah.
I'm trying to help. Okay, good stuff.
Oh!
Oh no!
I'm okay! But you're not!
I hate the spinner sometimes.
There's another up there. One's coming up the wall to me. Right here.
Thank you.
Double booyah. Or no, not double booyah. Splashdown and booyah went at the same time. So I was confused.
I am down to machine. They're in left pit. There are like 3 there.
Pro. Yeah. Charger's over there as well. Oh, someone's coming at me at that jump.
Okay, good job getting the pick anyway. There's still one coming up.
I know. They're gonna come up spinner. They're locking me out on spinner again. Or they will be. The one's on this wall. Oh, there they are!
What?
The pit!
Tagged them.
The end spinner, they're all coming over
Got
top.
one.
But, tower's at 30. It's moving fast.
Trying to focus tower. I'm down. We didn't have control left at all. We all focused spinner. Oh, that splashdown actually got me.
I can't hit tower. I can't.
$350 Splatoon weapon replica? Holy moly.
Oh, shit.
That costs more than the console that you play Splatoon on. Oh, right, squeezy. I must squeezy. And
the superior form of my weapon. Well,
you don't run MPU on this, right? Is it just LDE?
I run LPU on it for damage, but...
On Squeezer?
Yeah, but people run it differently.
Oh, okay.
Heka says LDE.
Heka is the requester, the original requester, so... We'll go for it. Why did Heka's name change color? From
It
one
didn't
message
for
to
me.
Are they 2 different accounts?
Your Twitch is broken because it's the same for me. Also, I know who Slayer is on the other team. They played in the midpoint draft recently. No!
I've never seen a power this high in League. I'm too bad.
What was it? I didn't even see.
It was
2220.
2000. Yeah.
Oh. I think that. Okay.
I see why I've never seen a League power like this.
No, Baller, leave me alone!
Yeah, they had that angle covered. They're over on plat, Nautilus.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to come closer.
Flank left, flank left. From ramp, from ramp.
Whee! It's gonna be the arrow spray. The arrow spray is gonna be in my face the whole time. Thank you. There it is again. Gem behind you, arrow spray. Oh,
Not dropped on me. I traded.
Yeah, we see. Unfortunate. I can't hit the tower. I need someone else to contest. We only had one.
Yeah, and I was respawning.
I know.
Happens.
The ranged weapons can just pick you from that point. I liked Vian's wall just needed to come out a little sooner. And on the platform, and I think you guys would have had it.
Rapid Blaster Pro Deco.
That's actually a nice choice.
Oop, not that one. That one. And yeah, let's try that one like this. Not optimizing it for armor. We already have armor. Oh no.
Oh no! Don't do no. Okay, well, I guess that means this is happening.
Unless
We're gonna have no paint at all.
I don't have the gear for it. Otherwise, I would try.
Oh man. This
I don't think
is,
I've actually used it once.
This is not a comp.
Maybe I should have gone for splash or something. Better painting at least a little bit.
This is not your fault, Chibi.
Thank you. There's a Koru.
Take this
Who's
to
playing?
Atlanta ASAP? What?
Oh
What's in
no.
Atlanta? Are we just gonna keep playing the same team and our comp is gonna progressively deteriorate?
Sounds like fun. Next round all supports.
I mean, Quad End Zap is definitely not the worst comp you can find.
Nice pick.
Not pushing right, because of course it is.
Get around the side of the wall! I also missed all of my shots, otherwise I had a flank on them. Oh, I didn't see that.
H3 on our bunker.
Oh, I don't like where I'm coming then. They're underneath.
How did that miss? What? Everything's in Atlanta.
I'm getting bombed.
I just don't understand what take this to Atlanta means. We live in Squid World.
I just like
Is
sit here
Atlanta
the
like
whole
a
game.
type of fish or something? I don't know.
I mean, there's fishing in Atlanta.
I might actually, I'm not sure. I vaguely remember the Atlanta Aquarium is known for like having the largest landlocked aquarium, so I actually don't know if there's fishing in it. Oh, wait, lakes exist. Or I may just be wrong about the landlocked aquarium thing.
I got shot blocked when I had a clear shot on the arrow spray.
Oh, sorry, did I do that?
No, it was
Oh.
it was someone else.
I'm really bad about, like, noticing that people exist, so it wouldn't be a surprise.
I directed the H3 before they popped the bubbles on me. We need to protect the tower here.
I'm in no position for that.
Well, we got one of them. That was a lot better than the last game was, which is annoying, but...
Yeah, it was a lot better. He could not move.
I think we got outpainted, and I can't really put my finger on why. It just doesn't make sense.
I cannot play with 2 blasters. It's just not happening.
But
So I'm
can you
just
play
gonna
with
switch.
3?
No, I'm just gonna switch. If that's the case.
Well, I've done my time here. I'm switching off.
Thank God.
I still don't know why we're talking about Atlanta in the first place. Like...
I blame Jamie because Jamie's the history person. That's my
No,
guess.
it was Josh Zilla saying, take this to Atlanta ASAP. Take what to Atlanta? What are we transporting to Georgia? Explain.
Because you're the history person, and all I read was you giving a fact about Atlanta, so I assumed that was
What,
probably the
did
case.
we talk about
earlier.
Atlanta somewhere before this point? I don't get it.
Oh my God.
We're playing our main weapons now. Hopefully this goes a little better. Although it was actually really nice having the range to deal with the Nautilus. It was a huge pain in the first game.
They have a Luna.
I just enjoy. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just enjoy seeing their power increment higher by 20 every time.
This is just gonna be pain for me.
Got one. Luna on me.
Rush is right by me. Got him.
One bottom right here.
Oh, we actually.
Got him. That's triple.
I somehow did a 180. Oh. This brush is just lurking behind here. Someone else wanna come this way and paint on this brush here?
Oh, they got me on tower.
I'm working on
Luna.
keeping the guy on the left suppressed here.
Well, I got the brush, but not the blaster.
Alright. I don't have control of their pit anymore. They're gonna rush.
Yeah, you were way too far ahead. We didn't even get past checkpoint because they were already in mid.
There were two that I was stalling there.
Oh, well. We can't get the objective to go up to you if we can't get the ones out of mid.
I'm marked.
Oh, they pushed me off.
Alright, good pick. There's one more to the tower and two around it. You're alone, Debbie.
I know.
Good jump. Not down. One on me.
No.
I got two.
There's
Good
a
stuff.
beacon by our sponge and pit. And the...
Brush is here with it.
Dead.
Nice. Nod is in mid. Bomb rushing.
Oh my lord.
I'm down to the Luna.
Someone watch this brush.
Good job.
Got two. Third one on spinner.
One on spinner.
Two on
got one.
spinner. Oh, I got another. There we go.
Okay, we should start
Brush.
moving it.
Brush is in their pit. Brush
They're
is
gonna
behind
come
me
left. They're oh, they jumped to
Got it.
underneath. There are two beacons underneath. Brush on behind tower, behind tower.
Oh, right there. I'm down. Yeah, get the beacon. There you go.
There are 3 on tower. Okay, okay. Good fight. Watch out for the splatling. They're inkjetting.
Yep.
Brush on left mid. Brush down.
I have to heal. I'm like 1 shot.
The Luna was on me. I should have gotten the Nautilus a little sooner than that. 2 beacons, left snipe. So watch out for flanks. Clear the beacons, clear the beacons.
Someone in front of me and I don't know where. There it is. Ah! They're all in pit.
Yeah, I can't get in there from that angle. Got 2.
Okay, now can you clear the beacons, Gem, or they're gonna jump in behind you?
No, I cannot because Knot's watching me. I'm down to the Knot. They're in pit.
How did you get up? Whoa!
Back up, back up.
I'm just fleeing.
Talking
Brush is
to
underneath.
Chibi.
I have to just flee. Brush is
They're
on
gonna
left
come
side.
over Spinner. They already did. 1 on left, Brush.
I missed. I don't know how, but I did.
I got saved by bumping off the brush. Okay, there are 3 over the top left. I'm just gonna flank the tower.
I have a Luna just keeping me at spawn.
Oh.
Ah!
Well, we did a lot better.
That will be power, and so we're gonna go into the VOD review from there.
Should have changed umbrella.
Alrighty. So we haven't gotten any response back from Xeon. I'm going to assume that they're not available to be here for the VOD review. But we will be able to get started. Something that I saw in Xeon's gameplay that I think is going to be really good to highlight for us is the concept of cover and how to use that, why to use that. I think this match that we're going to see is a good illustration of why cover is important, especially for the weapons that they chose to use here. So we're gonna get to the that.
Cover is important for everyone. I know it's a Splatling's best friend.
Thank you for letting me join in League.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for playing. And I don't know why this is oversized, but there it is. Okay. Apologies to Abe. We're going to mute that, and we're going to back this up to the beginning of this match. Just hereabouts. Okay, there we go. So everyone should be seeing this, and I might as well share my screen in the Discord call in case Debbie wants to share anything here, but there's that. All right. And let's grab the chat up. There we go. All right. So we've got Xeon here playing the Clear Dapple Dualies. The Clapples for short. I've also tried to get Blapples to be a thing, and hasn't caught on yet, but I'm working on it. So anyway. Clapples are a weird weapon. They're a weapon with a bit of an identity crisis. They are a main weapon that is very much an ambush predator. They're there to get really close to you and then jump out at you with dodge rolls that dodge around all of the damage you try to do to them, and an extremely, extremely fast time to splat. Like, this is one of the fastest splatting weapons in the entire game. It is just a 3-shot, and those 3 shots come quick. The problem is it's got the range of like a sploosh or something. It's very, very short. And that's the main thing that makes them a lot less viable. The other aspect that makes them a lot less viable is their kit. Like I said, it has an identity crisis. What I mean by that is that the sub-weapon and the special on all of the Dapple Dooley's kits do not go with the main weapon very well. The blue one is an okay supportive kit that works decently well on Rainmaker, but Rain is currently out of favor, so even that, one of the strongest parts of it, its kit, is not that great for it right now. The Clapples have Torpedo, which is actually pretty nice for scouting, but the thing is, this is a weapon that's trying to stay stealthed, and if you see a whole bunch of torpedoes getting thrown from somewhere, you're probably going to anticipate that there's someone over there. It's also really good for like a supportive painter, and that is not something that the Dapples are trying to do. Finally, it has Splashdown, which is fine until people start shooting it out of the sky, at which point it is the worst special in the entire game. So it doesn't see an awful lot of use at high level. It's usually around like the 2,000-2,100 range in X rank that you stop seeing those as much. The red one actually does have a little bit of a niche in that it's one of the best weapons on Moray towers for setting up beacons. You can run it behind enemy lines, put a whole bunch of beacons down, and just run a crap ton of quick respawn and sub power up so that people can jump in there really quickly. And even if they die, they can just jump back in there really quickly before you can get rid of the beacons. And that's kind of a strategy it's a gimmick for sure, but it can be run. And that is Bomb Rush as well, which is definitely not a bad special. It would be nice for the red Dapples to have a poking sub, something that can do damage from longer range than Dapple Dooley's main weapon range, which is bad. But it's those other parts of its kit kind of work sometimes in some situations. So I definitely don't recommend Dapples very highly. Despite all of the other things that we've already said, there's also one other glaring weakness, which is that they are dualies. The thing about dualies right now is that there are a bunch of main power-up weapons that are meta, that a lot of people are running, they're finding a lot of success with. And the thing about main power-up weapons that use main power-up to decrease the number of shots to kill, is that they always get you to like 99.9 or 99.8 or something like that. They get you very close to splatting you, and then rely on you having touched enemy ink to get the rest of the way. Dualies have to touch enemy ink to get anything out of their movement mechanic, their gimmick. And so they're always going to be putting themselves in situations where you're going to end up taking that extra damage that you need to get 2-shot by a K-Pro or to get 1-shot by a Bamboo or whatever else. So it's a sad world right now for a Dapples player, but we'll talk about the weapon just as a standard short-range weapon. We might talk a little bit about the problem of dodge rolls with the dualies and the movement commitment that they pose, because that'll come up a couple of times. But I'm going to try and keep things otherwise focused mostly to the discussion of cover and how to use it to gain an advantage here. So I take a quick look here at the builds and everything. The build here is definitely not the standard build that you will see on Dapple Doolies. Swim speed is always good. Like, literally no weapon is like throwing by running swim speed. It's one of the best patches in the game, in my opinion. Main power up, I don't think you need, because it already 3-shots. You're not going to get any extra damage from it. I don't know exactly what it does on Dapples. It's probably not damage, but I don't know what else it could do that is worthwhile. So you probably don't run that on those. And then you've got, I forget if that's Haunt or Thermal Link. That's Thermal Link, right? Okay. That's something that you see a lot more often on more passive weapons, like the Bloblobber, for example, is a popular user of thermal ink. Um, with the Dapples, if you're shooting someone, you're close enough to them that you need to get that pick right away, or you're already going to lose the fight. Um, so I think it's got a lot less utility for that particular weapon. But we'll move on from that. So we got Xeon here. So something that I need to caution every Dualies player about is using your dodge rolls early. If you use a dodge roll and you're not going to be in range to shoot someone once you've ended the roll, you'd better either be getting out of a situation that will kill you, or you'd better be able to use that second roll to get in range to hit someone. Because otherwise, you're just forcing yourself to sit still for a second, which you wouldn't normally need to do. Right now, in this position, there's nobody down here. There's nobody that you need to shoot. And so what you'll get more benefit from doing here is using both guns. For those who don't know, when you dodge roll with the Dualies, you push your two reticles together, and you only have one reticle out in front of you. So the weapon is far more accurate, and it actually increases the fire rate as well. The difference between that and using the Dualies side by side, where the shots will alternate from one pistol to the other, is that you're going to paint more when the weapon is less accurate. If the shots are not firing on just one reticle and they're going side to side, you get more of a spread. It's the reason that the Aerospray paints so much. It's because it's absolutely horrendous at aiming. You can fire 7 shots and miss 3 of them because the shots just flew off in some random direction. You know, that sounds terrible, but it paints really well because of that. And Dualies actually have that option to paint better by not rolling. So that's something that I would definitely consider doing, especially in a situation where there's no chance that anybody is in range for you to hit them right now. The other thing about doing the dodge roll is that you're forced to stand still for a second, and standing still, if somebody is in position to start shooting at you, can be a death sentence. So here you run up against a matchup that is absolutely dreadful for the Dapples to deal with, against someone who can aim decently well. You're at basically max range of a Rapid Blaster, and so there is no way against, you know, a solid player that you're going to be able to rush them down before they do the damage they need to you. You've made your position very clear, and one of the reasons that, you know, this person has started shooting at you in the first place is that you weren't using cover when you rolled out. When you start the match, people will only know where you are by, you know, where you've painted and where you've kind of shown yourself over cover. If you paint this way, but then maybe shark or get behind cover, like maybe sit behind this corner here, they're a lot less likely to be able to push you because they don't have an angle on you. Or if they do get that angle, you'll see them coming and you'll be able to roll out at them. But here you get surprised because you're out there in the open. And there's also nowhere you can really retreat to that effectively. I think your best option right now is to roll straight to the left and try and get around this corner here. You're probably counting on Heka to miss... I think it's Heka who's on the Rapid Blaster. Maybe it's not. You're kind of counting on them to miss their shots here. Because I believe, you know, if they hit a direct right here, you double roll, and then they hit an indirect around this side, which I think they can probably still do, then you're getting splatted anyway. But this at least decreases the chances that they hit that shot, because you're going to be below this ground. They're going to have to hit you around this corner. It's a much harder shot for them to hit. What ends up happening is you roll towards the middle. The problem with that here being that they were about to cap the zone, and now that they have capped the zone, you don't have any paint to work with. So, oops. Let's, is it forward? Okay, I guess we can only go in 10-second intervals here. But you can see the right side of it is already completely painted purple. So you roll in here. You didn't really have any paint here to swim in to begin with. So again, after you're done with your dodge rolls, you're committed to standing here. And this is an easy shot for Heka. You have nowhere you can even walk to because there's all this blue paint around you, and you get picked. So things to do differently. Number one, don't put yourself out in the open. Always have cover that you can at least retreat to quickly when you're going out to try and push the zone. Number two, be aware of what's going on the other side of the zone. You know, if the other side of the zone is very, very the wrong color, then your side, you know, you should anticipate it might cap in a second. Be aware of the matchup that you have against different weapons. This weapon definitely beats you. It has way too much range for you to contest where you were. And also be very careful about using your dodge rolls, because as soon as you dodge roll, you're committing yourself to, at some point in the very near future, stand still for about a second, which is the perfect amount of time for something like a rapid blaster to line up a direct.
Take note of how your teammates are coming out, because I wasn't far off to the left originally at the start of that game.
Right.
Before the blast happened.
Looks like Devi has moved over to the right since. So we are 2 down here, and we're pushed back to the plat. The enemy team has the zone. What this situation means is if you drop off plat, there is probably someone sitting down there ready to splat you. They have the zone, which means that they have all of this paint in the middle. You know, none of your teammates have pushed any further forward, so you have to assume that your opponents are pretty close in front. Smart Splat Zone's teammates will push up so that, number one, they're not getting splatted on the zone, and number two, so that it's harder for you to push back in. So before any of this happens here, I know that there's like at least one person down here because the torpedo targets them. We can now see this person out here. So this is at least a 2v1 you're running yourself into. And yeah, you've got an E-leader behind you, but for all you know, you engaging this fight, you might just block their view. You're not gonna block their shot because their shots are piercing, but I don't rely too heavily on a backliner like an E-leader to be able to help me in this situation, because if they miss one shot, they cannot provide support for another second or so. Plenty of time for someone else to splat me. So I would not be dropping into mid here. I would be painting this area up, throwing a whole bunch of torpedoes, figuring out where people are, and then taking a fight once I can see I have an advantage somewhere. You drop down and you do end up actually getting a pick, which is crazy because not only are all of those things not in your favor, but you also have missiles on you now, so you're forced to dodge roll away from the missiles, which means that at some point this player, if they just back up, they're going to be able to shoot at you from out of your range, and you're going to be locked in place. So they probably could have done something about that if they had seen you coming here, and I think they probably should have seen you coming there, but you are able to get that pick. And with that push, the team is able to make something happen here. I like this flank, but after this, you're separated from your teammates on this side here. There's a bunch of blue ink in front of you. If you're going to rush this person down, you need to like roll right on top of them and just get them right away. If not, I would be backing away. Staying in this fight for this long, yeah, okay, you're able to get rid of the bomb with the splashdown, which is some good quick thinking. But at this point, again, since you're separated from your teammates, I don't want to stay here for very long. They have also just popped armor, which is a disadvantage to you. It looks like you roll towards the bomb here, and that's going to get you splatted. It looks like you ran into the wall there. I think even if you don't run into the wall, you probably still get splatted. You're probably still too close. So that's just reacting to bombs, knowing to be looking for them. Reactions, the thing about them is that like you're not going to get your base reaction speed much faster. You could practice it a little bit, but the real, when people talk about, you know, you need to have a faster reaction to that, what they mean is you need to recognize the situation quicker. You need to have like a practiced reaction to it. So like you spot the bomb and then that immediately triggers in your brain, oh, I need to not be in this circle around the bomb in the next half of a second. And you need to be able to execute on that really quickly, you know. So when we say training your reflexes, we don't mean like, oh, go and play reaction test games online. We mean like spot the situation and like be thinking, oh, that's a situation I need to spot. That's a situation where I need to do this. I need to have a plan going into whenever that happens. One more thing I want to talk about, though, with that fight, because remember, we're talking about cover a lot. You are once again putting yourself in a position here where you are out in the middle of the map without any cover to retreat to. You get this pick, which is good. One of the reasons I want you to retreat, you have cover here, you have cover behind you. You do not have cover if you move forward. So it becomes you versus this other player, and you're forced to hard commit. They roll a good bomb, so they're not really interested in taking the fight, but at this point, you should consider this a win, because you've gotten here, you have cover. You don't need to push this player, because now they have cover, and they have armor, they have some advantages. You can just back up. You've got zone. If they start painting the zone, okay, then you go back in, but right now they're focused on you. So take cover and wait for them to expose themselves instead of exposing yourself first. Jamie plays this smart. They're able to paint up a lot of the zone here. And I think they cap. Yes, they do. Quick movement thing there.
Or vibrating on the desk.
Oops. All right. So rolling out on this particular map. Oh my goodness. Pause button. Please do what I am trying to get you to do. There we go. The annoying thing here is that the spacebar, it activates the last button you pressed. So I accidentally, I pressed the mute button, and then when I pressed spacebar again, it went to unmute instead of to pause. So the Twitch playback is annoying. But on this map, you always want to go to the right of this, because going to the left of this forces you to walk on uninkable turf, or to at least jump across uninkable turf. If you just deviate a little bit to the right and then drop off here, everything in front of you is paintable. So it's going to be a lot faster to get out. The only time I would not drop down here is if you're worried there might be someone on your top right here trying to lock you out. But that is clearly not the situation here, because you still have two people on your plat. So they haven't like snuck behind it or anything. But, you had to walk down this area. And, that may not sound like much, but a second or two in this game is a huge difference. Like that, if you get to a fight 2 seconds faster, you're able to find your aim and be hitting your shots, splat someone, and get out before those 2 seconds are up. But if you're getting into that fight 2 seconds later, it might be too late for any of that to happen. So movement optimizations in this game are very important. So this right here is one of the other advantages of cover. Your opponent shows it off very well here. Now, you could have seen those ink splashes coming down in mid already, but you see them right here. So this is actually early. You could be responding to this by just dodge rolling backwards before you even go off the side. But let's say the brush plays it a little bit sneakier and doesn't start swinging until after you drop down over the top. They have cover here. They're below a ledge. Because you can't see them, you go into a fight that you don't realize is a fight, and you get splatted without returning any damage at all. And one of the things that I've been telling you to do is take cover more often. If you had done that, if you hadn't come out quite as obviously as this player might not have actually seen you and known to be swinging before you even rolled off the side here. What they do right there, that ambush that they set incidentally, is the kind of thing that you'll want to be doing when your team is in control. You'll want to be setting up someplace where you know that the opponents are going to walk by, but where it's going to be hard for them to see you and hard for them to deal with you. Because if you're fighting weapons that have longer range than you, you need some way to get in range of them in order for you to ever win that fight. Otherwise, they just kite you for days. But if you can already be up to them before they notice you, now the fight is in your favor because you splat them quicker. So that's kind of a game design thing about how this works. And that's something that you can take advantage of. There you take the correct route it looked like you almost made the same mistake again, but then you corrected it there, so that's a good catch. You saw 2 blaster shots come at you from this direction. As soon as one of them chipped your armor, you should be immediately focusing on that. Strong players are not going to let you just push onto the zone like this into enemy paint. So I'm glad that you do kind of loop around and go back after this player, but if Heka hit more of his shots, he could have definitely splatted you, taking this long loop around before you could ever get in range of him. And basically the only reason that doesn't happen is because somebody else is shooting at him at the same time. So in summary, you know, once you are stuck in that situation, you should just be dead. But what you want to do is kind of close the distance with Heka as fast as you possibly can if you can't find cover. And the only cover you had to work with there was the trunk of the tree, basically, the trunk of the clam up there, which isn't big enough to save you from indirect damage from a rapid blaster. Once again, dropping down, no cover. There are 2 players in front of you. They're both going to outrange you. If they push you here, they should win that fight because you have nothing to work with. I like that you take a cover there, but then you immediately leave it. There's someone who just shot at you from the left. If you go around to the right, you're now getting rid of this piece of cover, which is protecting you from someone who's on the other side. Because we do see there is someone on the other side, and I think you saw that earlier because you're pushing them. When you push around here, you're giving up the cover that you had from this player, and you're still being shot by this player back here. If you're going to take this fight, you want to take it from like way over in this direction, around this corner, so that the player behind you can't get in on this fight. So you have cover from them at least. So I would be rolling to the left to get behind this once I'm committed to this degree. You kind of do that, but then you put yourself right back into mid, and so you lose the fight. Again, I would not have pushed in there in the first place. There is way too much purple ink here. Your teammates are looking more at the right than they are looking at this. You know that there are at least 2 people in front of you, and you have no guarantee that anyone is going to follow up on this with you because you're the one who's going in first. So unless you're talking to them on comms and saying, push left with me, this is just a play that's going to get you stuck in a 2v1. If you're going to go here, I would focus more on painting rather than trying to take a fight. It does look like you have the numbers, you've taken someone out. You might just be able to outpaint them and be able to take the zone that way really quickly. But I wouldn't stay on it for too long because you're really short range, and that gives one of them time to get in position to get a good fight with you. So you again see that there is armor coming out, so that's another disadvantage that you're pushing into. If you're going to roll around, again, I would try and get into this corner. Being in corners is really nice when somebody else is trying to retreat to them, because I'll back up for just a second and slow this down here once you get into that position. Okay, I'm going to slow it down here. So right here, if you go into the corner, you know that there's an opponent that's like right back here. If you go straight into the corner, you stay behind that opponent. They're trying to move to get a better angle on you. And if you roll behind them, if you cross them up, if you get their back basically, then they have to make a really difficult snap with their aim to get onto you. Whereas you are in the corner, so there are only so many places that you can even hit in front of you, and your opponent takes up most of your screen. So that should be much easier shots. So I'm saying, the splash gets in the way. I'm saying you want to be like right here because they're right next to you and you have a good angle on them and they don't have a good angle on you. And you have cover from this teammate who is pushing in from this side. So that's one way you could have potentially salvaged the fight. But again, I wouldn't have pushed in there in the first place. I would have tried to go with the rest of my team there. Now your team does secure the zone here, but with you down, I'm thinking they're going to be able to push in and take it back at this point. I'm going to get us back to normal speed. They do get 2 down, actually, so your team wins a good fight there. And your thermal ink does kind of come in clutch there. You're able to see that brush. Now, the way that you're firing at them, first of all, your aim is a little bit high, so you're going to be shooting over their heads. But for another thing, what I would try to do is roll so that I am standing in turret mode right at the edge here. so that I am going to be able to splat them as quickly as possible. I've got my very accurate shots that are less likely to miss, and my faster fire rate. I'm going to be trying to get my splats that way. I think one reason that you shoot from dual fire mode so often is that you are using stick controls, and something that people do a lot with dapples on stick controls is they use the dual fire mode so that they don't have to aim as accurately. Because the dapples splat so quickly, you can sometimes get away a little bit with not having great aim and just using the double reticle thing so that more of your shots hit. That's obviously going to stop working as well as players get better. And the range issue is definitely going to start hurting you as time goes on there. Now, you knew that the brush came over to the right, so you want to be getting your aim set a little bit quicker than this. So I'll point out exactly when. So right here, I'm already holding the right stick. You know, even if I don't have motion aim, I'm already getting my aim set because you know that they didn't go through this way. There's already, you know, yellow paint here and they're popping missiles. So they have to be hiding in this corner. This is the only place that they could possibly be. So you want to be rotating your camera more than you are currently. They're already going to be down here in this corner. You do end up picking them. If their aim were a little bit truer, if they were facing straight at you and pre-firing you because they knew you were going to drop over this ledge, which they could do because you were already firing at them before, they could probably get this pick for sure. I think it's only because they were distracted by your teammates that are up on the plat that they didn't win this fight against you. So you're able to get zone control here. I like that you are pushing forward. I like that you're trying to take a forward position, but I don't like that you retreat here. Remember how hard it was to see that brush when they ambushed you from below the ledge earlier? If you sit right down here, it is very, very difficult for this player to actually hit you. And the only way that they manage to actually hit you is putting themselves in range of you. So yes, this Rapid could theoretically walk all the way to the edge and shoot straight down and hit this angle. But if they do that, here's what you do. You roll out into mid, laser them down immediately, and then swim back into cover. And you've taken them out, and they don't have the time to splat to be able to contest that. But since you put yourself out in mid here, you're putting yourself in range of their shots. And in fact, you swim right into where they were already firing. This is never something you want to do because now you don't have paint at your feet. You saw that they were shooting in that direction, so you want to kind of act with the knowledge that they have that painted. If you're going to move relative to an opponent who's already shooting, you want to move perpendicular. So like they have a line that's basically in this direction that I'm making with my cursor right here. Their line of fire is in this direction. If you move parallel, so in the same direction, which you're doing right now, you're moving from left to right. So if you move parallel to that line of fire, you're just going to keep getting shot because they don't have to adjust their aim very much at all to be able to hit you. If you move perpendicular, though, now they have a wider angle that they need to swing their aim at to hit you. So if you had gone straight past them, up and down like this, now they have to aim a lot more carefully to be able to hit their shots on you. It looks like what you're trying to do here is actually ignore the Rapid Blaster and just get out of their range. But this bomb here, I think you do have time to see it. So let me just check that really quickly. So the bomb gets dropped right there. At this point, you know, you already put yourself in enemy ink. You probably don't want to advance any further. You probably want to just get back behind cover. You have no paint at your feet. You don't have range to hit anybody on plat. This bomb is in your way. There are a lot of reasons you don't want to progress. You want to just back up and get underneath that ledge where the brush took cover in the fight you just won. Rolling this way just gets you into more trouble. So yellow team is able to take the lead. Brief pause there. Might have been checking the map for too long or something like that. Happens to me. Ooh. You already have those two players marked. So, like, you can already see from here, you know there's a player here, there's a player here, there's a player here. If you rush in on the left, you're in a 2v1 for sure, and this player might collapse on you if you keep doing that. There's no reason to be rushing in here right now. You're down a player. You know that all of them are there and watching and have paint. You have a teammate who's over here who's probably not going to be in a great position to help you if you just rush forward like this. And they seem like they're moving toward you. They seem like they might actually see you swimming on plat and be responding to that movement, which I think they already are. And yeah, they back up, they kite you back. The rapid is able to take you out, even though this player doesn't hit a lot of shots, because they're able to get your attention and keep you trying to shoot at them. The rapid's able to do all the work that he needs to do. So once again, you're pushing without cover towards opponents that you can see in enemy ink. In this game state, you don't want to be pushing the zone anyway, because again, you're down one. If you are going to push it, you want to push it with teammates, and you want to push it with maybe some specials to work with. I would at least from this position throw a torpedo at these guys, force them to focus on shooting that. And if they're focused on shooting that, that's a great opportunity for you to move someplace else so that they lose track of you. If they have to shoot straight up to hit this torpedo and then move their aim back to forward, they might lose track. So that would be an opportunity for you to shift to the right and work with AirSign, who's on your right over here. Another thing about this engagement is that you double roll right off the bat. And so from here, you're stuck. You give them time to kite you back before you can move again. If you had approached and rolled only once it was going to get you into range, then you might have had a better shot of getting to them. But because you roll early, before they're like hitting you or anything, you actually give them enough time to move out of your range. And now you're forced to roll again to try and escape, and it doesn't work out. You getting splatted on zone like that helps them a lot, because now your team is staggered. They're probably going to get lead because you just don't have time to physically move yourself to the zone in time to paint it anymore. And so I might eat my words here. No, I don't think so, because you're going to get splatted on zone and then you're going to lose the lead. So from here, this torpedo here targets you. So this player definitely knows you're there. And you know, because it's a torpedo, this is the Rapid Blaster watching you. You've already lost a couple of fights to the Rapid Blaster. They outrange you. We've talked about why that's not a good matchup for you. So dropping down, not knowing exactly where they are, where they do know exactly where you are, that's asking for trouble. You're also dropping into all enemy paint. Nobody's dropping a special or anything. Nobody is really seeing you and pushing up with you. The person who's furthest forward on the right was just being pushed out of position by a torpedo, so they're not in position to help you right now. This is a solo push. Somebody's on your right, you find out, as you drop down there. So this brush could have cleaned up. Even if you had gone and taken this fight successfully, they'd be right behind you, trying to splat you for doing this push. But Heka just does an excellent job of kiting you back here, using the information that he's gained from that torpedo, knowing the fact that you tend to rush into mid here. He's able to get this pick, and no harm is done to him. You lose the ability to have an impact on the zone. Your junior goes down. Your Brella goes down because you're not there to support them in the fight. I think the game is just lost then and there. You might be able to get something going here. You do get a fight that you can win there. Xeon actually probably could have gotten the pick if they had aimed better, but you do a good job of surprising him there and managing to get it with your faster time to splat. So that's not a bad pick to get. The splashdown there actually is not the best plan, because the splashdown is going to take a couple seconds before it's going to put any paint out, and you don't have a couple of seconds there. What I'm doing in this position is I'm just using my main weapon and firing at this player that I see here, because they're standing on the zone and painting the zone. So if I splat them, I get about a bomb's worth of paint around them. I paint all of the way up to them, and I stop them from countering my paint with their own. And that might actually have been enough to push it to neutral. But because, so you have 3 ticks left, right? You pop the splashdown, and before the paint even goes out, you've lost the game. Splashdown does take a pretty significant amount of time to go out there. It is definitely not instant. And, you know, since ticks last less time than seconds, at that point you kind of just need to be shooting your main weapon and not relying on a special that's going to take a second to go out to paint it. I don't know if even splatting that person, best case scenario, would have neutralized the zone for you. This looks pretty painted the wrong color even with the splashdown out there. I don't know if this is 50% yellow, but I think that's still a better chance that you have than trying to use the splashdown to do it. So to review, cover is really, really important, and you always want to be using it up until the point where you're putting yourself in range to splat someone with the dapples. If there is enemy paint there, you don't want to just push into it blindly. Yes, your weapon splats fast, but you also have limited range, and people will see you coming in time to retreat and kite you. And be aware of dropping over ledges without painting in front of yourself first. There's a very clear pick that the brush gets on you earlier on in this match where they're just sharking under the ledge, and that's something that you should always expect is happening if they have control of mid. So this is the point where I would ask if you have any more questions, but Xeon has, not to my knowledge, been able to make it into the stream, so we don't have them here to be asking questions. And I will conclude the VOD review there for the time being. I'm going to go and catch up with chat really quickly while we get this going again, but I will open up a PB lobby because we've got a whole half hour to work with. There we go. No password. All right, let's see here. What is Blapples? Blapples, I only know Napples and Vapples. So, Napples? What are Napples? Vapples, I can see it's like vanilla dapples. Oh, Dapples Nouveau. Nah, I like Blapples way better.
When you said that the first time, it was just, it was like, wait, what?
Blapples.
But it's great.
Clapples because they always clapping. Yeah, we can go with that. Whenever Clapples roll, I want to hear an MP3 of someone clapping. Or as Prochara likes to call it, the suicide button. Yep. Rolling as Dapples is definitely very scary. Ah, maybe the build was just for drip. That's a good thought. Dapple's skill ceiling is very high. This is true. You know, Dapples feels like a really good weapon if you're in range to get hit by the Dapples. Because at that point, they should just not lose. But the should part comes with the caveat that the player who's using them needs to be really good at the game. They need to be able to aim very quickly and make very quick decisions about where they're going to roll. The tools are all there. It feels like Tracer from Overwatch or something. Like, if you're good at it, it's so annoying to deal with from there. There's so little you can do. Very mobile weapon. But again, only in that radius right around the Dapples is that ever true. And if they get there in the first place against the strong painting weapons and mid-range weapons that are in the metagame right now, then you've made a mistake. Who's that crappet with the LDE face visor? Hard eyes, says Heka. A necessary sacrifice for the drip. I have sacrificed all drip for quickly making builds. We have two different philosophies here. How can you sacrifice drip? If you go the path of the anti-drip. we had a lot of arguments about that. So you finished all my builds. Oh, Smidge was the E leader. I'm hurt, Gem. Like, I say that I don't rely on the backliner to hit those shots and whatnot, even when I was playing with, like, Eris, who is absolutely cracked beyond my level. Like, they've played on Div 2 teams. They've seen, you know, some pretty high-level Splatoon play. They hit a lot of shots that I'm just like, how did you hit that? And I still would not rush into that situation, even if that was Eris watching for me, because I know that there is only so much they can do for me. They can get one shot off, and that, at best, puts me in a 1v1 situation. At worst, I am in a 1v2 without any assistance whatsoever. Like, they're not even going to be able to paint that much for me. So, like, even the best of E-leaders, you get into that situation, there's not an awful lot that you're going to be able to do with it.
Okay, I think I got it what they wanted. The weapon things. When you get down to like the triple redemption for Carbon Roller, it's only Bankies that you're listening to.
I like that you're warning me preemptively for this.
Yeah, just so you know, because it looks a little confusing.
Nada's probably pretty difficult to play on sticks. Yes and no. I mean, every weapon is way harder to play on sticks. I guess, like, painting your feet is going to be tricky, and so Nada's going to be even slower than it already is that way. I know people will say, no, this is really fast, it's really mobile. It's for a Splatling, okay? Splatlings are not fast. That is not their defining weapon characteristic. They may be fast in run speed because you run so much of it to compromise for the fact that they're really slow. But
The only
join
thing
PB.
that's slow
Yeah,
about
absolutely
them
join the
is
PB.
Charge time.
Yeah, it's half the time spent using the weapon. You are not able to spend it firing the weapon. And that's when you do have enough ink. It's slow. Like, even a charger, you can at least get a tap shot out that's enough for you to swim through. But with a Splatling, you need to paint a little bit more than that to be able to move. Like, I guess you can,
What,
like...
tap shots out? What are you talking about?
You only get one spot of ink. You don't get a whole line in front of you.
Still, you can make it work.
Like, yes, you can splat dash with it, but an E-leader doesn't... Like, even an E-leader doesn't have to splat dash. They can throw a tap shot, and they've got about the amount of ink to swim through as, like, an NZAP player does after having stood there and painted for a second. Like, it's actually pretty quick how a charger can paint their feet and get out of there, compared to even shooter weapons, let alone a Splatling. Oh, the splashdown was the suicide button. Yeah, that too. It's a suicide button unless you are fighting a short-range weapon outside of that short-range weapon's range, in which case, why are you just not using your main weapon that outranges the short-range weapon? Is usually the case. I guess if, like, you're like a Clapples fighting another Clapples and you just hit a torpedo or something, maybe you can finish it off with indirect damage from the splashdown. That's like the situation I could see it working. All right. We've got 7 people in here. Can we get an 8th? Can I see 8?
We're going to be getting an 8th in a second. It's just, you know, the bot doesn't have a FC command, so I had to go scroll up in our friend codes channel in the Griller server just to go find yours and then copy pasta it in chat.
Oh, does Gimme not have me friended? Oh, I didn't notice. Because we did friend them before. We did a VOD review for them.
Oh, weird. Unless if you deleted them by doing something by accident.
Do we have a friend request yet? Don't think so. Nope. 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 Okay. Light theme? What?
You have light mode on your Switch.
Oh. I was looking at my computer screen. Like, literally everything else is dark mode right now. No walleye, but camp? Yes, camp is a good map, and I will die on that hill. Camp forces you to play the game differently than you play it on any other map, and I think that that is very cool and interesting. It is not a degenerate map. It is just a map that requires a very different approach. Oh, come on. All right. I still don't think I have a friend request.
Unless if they just can't find you or their internet isn't working. That can be the only other two options that I can think of.
So Gimme, try and get that in soon if you can. Otherwise, we'll probably start our match without you here, and I'll spec so that I can easily step out and grab that friend request when it comes in.
You have Mario Party Superstars.
Yes, I do.
Expect me to be expect an invite to a game night soon. With Cook and Jamie.
It is very fun. For the time being, it seems rather broken. The items are wildly powerful.
So I've heard about it, but again, I haven't really touched and looked into it. So I'm very just curious to just jump in and play.
I played with Delta and Carbine last night.
Oh.
My two teammates, and
Yeah.
we ended up in a position where nobody could get stars because everyone kept buying chomp calls, which moves the star someplace else. So as soon as anyone would get close to it, someone else would have had time to get a chomp call and move it someplace. The game was one where nobody had earned more than, I think, 1 star from moving around the board. Some had been stolen, some had been moved away. Like, it was just really suppressive.
Still, I'll for Rainmaker, Karuto? No.
Triple bathtub? Wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, no.
And we've got the 2-for-2 trade, leaving only Heka and Tanya here. Heka moving in aggressively, Tanya deciding to keep her distance. But that does let Heka grab it and move to the left with it. This could be a good setup for a push here, but Heka is about to get flanked. Lucky for Yellow Team, they were able to get that in behind them in time. That could have gone badly for them. Yellow Team spotting out Glowstick, taking them out. Oh, does Heka fall for this? No, but Devi is able to sneak through for the slight lead. Only 56, definitely not game ending. Meanwhile, meanwhile, Chibi and Tanya fight on the complete opposite end of the map.
I saw that and I was just like, well, points time.
So, Koru or Banky, whoever it is that's in there, just kind of sitting in Booyah, holding mid, waiting for their teammates to get in. They use the Booyah Bomb to control space. Not the worst use of it, but also they won't have it for pushing or anything like that. They do eventually go down. Tanya and Devi able to push through, get a pick, and get the Rainmaker. Looks like they're going to try and paint their way forward here. We'll see what kind of resistance they meet. They get to 45, and then Devi runs the opposite direction.
Joy, there's kind of bubbles there. I look up and it's like, oh no, run.
Don't retreat, don't retreat.
Like, if I had my actual main weapon, I would have shredded them, but with a Rainmaker, I can't exactly do that. Uh-oh! Rainmaker exploded. You'd think I'd be able to guess their diameter by now, but nope.
Given that it has a circle that shows you what the diameter is.
No, it has. It's.
Oh, the indirect radius.
The,
yeah.
the inner one I get, but the outer one's what gets me.
It's Koru, Gem. It's always Koru.
Ow.
Oh no.
This isn't good.
Tanya's in some trouble here.
No.
And they're retreating.
Die.
They're retreating
Just
back.
die.
As soon as they pop it, they're gonna have lead here. Well, they already had
They
lead, but
already
it's
do.
gonna be a bigger lead.
I can't hit that.
Yeah, in enemy territory, or when they're in enemy territory, when they're pushing you into your own base, and they've already got lead, you gotta just accept your fate and let yourself die with the Rainmaker further forward.
The best thing to do in that situation was just to not grab it at all. Because paint was coming on the map. I don't think Tanya saw it. But there was definitely paint up ahead, and then we lost one, and then I tried to fight it, which was a mistake, and then I died. And then it was just, oh no.
Zone's Triggerfish. Ha, you have to play it now. And there's a friend request.
Yo, where's Smidge?
And it's Gimme. Friendship. The game's thinking about it. It's thinking long and hard about it. Friends.
The more friends you have, the longer it takes.
True. Yeah, and don't worry, like, these are... We'll definitely, you know, give advice and coach and things, but, like, you're not obligated to take these PBs especially seriously. It's not like we are disappointed in you if you make a mistake here.
Is watercolors coming tonight?
Yes, we are. We'll have a tryout for a 5th position on the team. I was at a Halloween party last weekend, and my friends made me a goodie basket full of stuff, like Halloween candy and things from their party. Turns out buried at the very bottom of that was an orange, and I didn't know it was there.
Oh no.
So I'm glad I found that, because that could have been bad if I had left it for too long.
Yeah.
Chibi with a good push onto the zone. Forcing Glowstick out. Oh, and actually able to use cover? Nope, not quite. The help from Devi and the kiting from Glowstick was too much. Probably could have used cover there, backed up, tried to take the zone instead. Man, this is a long-range comp that they're dealing with. I don't honestly know what the brush is supposed to do here. I can't ever get in.
Whoever tried to come over the rail, I applaud for you retreating. That was probably the best choice you could have made there.
Yes.
Oh, look at this inkjet.
Oh, that's how you play this at this point. You just wait for inkjet. And die to a bomb on your landing.
Who's
I feel
the remix?
I feel for the brush here.
Oh.
All right. Devi sitting on the zone, being menacing.
My job. I can't look that way. Sponge War!
All right. In comes purple team for their potentially last push. They are able to cap the zone. Oh, but only one zone, and they're not going to be able to get the other side. That's going to be game over.
The brush.
With my Day Zero Splatoon 2 remix. That weapon has the name of the game riding on its success.
I lost the Sponge War, though. I think I won it the first time, and I think you were a little shocked. But you managed to stay alive, though.
All right, Tower Starfish. Very common competitive map mode. Jamie says, my game isn't loading.
That's not
I did accept the friend request, and they actually didn't show up here.
I had this moment where Splatoon actually wasn't loading for me, and I actually had to change where I saved it because I had it saved on my SD card. I actually had to transfer everything to the system memory, and then it worked. It was weird. I still haven't played a game that I have it saved on my card. I need to figure out what I'm playing, don't I?
Yeah, I guess I am kind of dodging the weapon requests, aren't I? I should probably jump in on the next one. I'm down to play Carbon. Carbon's fun. I know how to throw burst bombs.
I don't think I can do this with that comp, but I don't have time to change, so I'm gonna have to stick with it. I can't fix it now.
Yeah, there wasn't enough time for Devi to switch. Banky, I am the only one who will do it when I can. Devi has allowed them before, but they are under no obligation. They are not the streamer.
I think I've subbed in enough times.
They gave me 2 oranges.
You got a second orange?
Man, that would have been so bad if I had not noticed that. And to be clear, they're good oranges. They're the little cuties. I am a fan of them. But also, if they had gotten overripe, that could have been really bad. I already have a problem with fruit flies, and now that I think about it, maybe they were smelling that.
Yeah, that would do it, wouldn't it? Ooh. This is risky. Bonk.
Devi with the successful bonk.
I'm... No, come back.
Debbie gets the bonk. There's a bomb rush going off, meanwhile, on the left-hand side. The tower is vacated.
I should have... Darn. Cool, I stalled. I'll take that. If I can stall an inkjet shot for tower.
Chibi going in there, getting 2 picks, getting the third, a triple for Chibi.
All right.
Oh, that's so sneaky. Chibi's not having it, though. They come back to fight Debbie. But Debbie tries to fight back. Has no ink to work with. Heka with a nice pick, starting to push into their street here. Tanya forced to back away. Oh, Tanya drops down. And goes down quickly to a bomb, I think, that Chibi laid. Debbie gets the bonk. Debbie gets bonk number 2. Going for bonk number 3. And she gets it. Unfortunately, not able to paint enough of a trail that they don't see her coming. So now she's forced to lie in wait, and Heka falls for the bonk.
Into it. I thought I could swim past it. Sad.
And the bonk was unsuccessful upon this day.
Oh, we have a DC. Sad.
Xeon Destroyer with a great flank there, able to get in on glow stick. Yellow team gonna get a good opportunity here to get this lead back, but we'll see what Debbie can say about it. Ooh.
Nothing with armor on. Nothing.
Yep.
We're also down 1. Our blob DC.
Yep, I'm aware. You'll just have to get another triple.
Yeah. Not in this position.
Glowstick is staying alive, which is honestly impressive given the circumstances. And the bonk comes through, but not before they got the lead by 1 point. They are able to cheese for another couple extra. So now 1 minute left for 1 roller and 1 Brella to push out, get their picks. Now they're playing well around each other right now. Debbie maneuvering through, gets the splash down off and gets Heka with it. Chibi forced behind enemy lines. Is able to get glow stick. Does the bonk come through? No, Chibi with the double.
Rollers. I'm upset that I missed that. I should have horizontal instead of vertical. Then I would have had it.
And the inkjet goes off before any of them are showing themselves. So Chibi unfortunately not able to find anything there. But they are able to collapse on glow stick, leaving only Debbie, who has been spotted. There's a successful bonk. We have another successful bonk.
Nope.
She does not have another successful bonk. That should be the game. Glowstick needs to rush the tower right now. Probably doesn't have time anyway. Nope. All right. Have a wonderful evening, Tanya. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Koru says, "Let's go! I killed Debbie."
Now wait till I'm back on the Hydra. No, I'm a lot more splattable on the roller. Oh wait, but I have to play sticks.
Ooh. I think Jamie was just barely able to make it in. Excuse me. I am going to have to put somebody else on spec because I need to play the carbon roller for a game per a weapon request.
Stick controls. What can I play with stick controls? Let's just stick to the norm, I guess. So I have to do this the whole time, right?
You have to do what?
Stick controls until it's taken off.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm not allowed to use squid form on the carbon roller? That's so evil. Well,
Jamie, I hope you're ready to carry.
if that's what I... No squid form. Okay, if that... In that case... This is actually a hilarious way to play this weapon. This is going to be carbon on ice.
I can't squid either. So right now we have Gem on carbon, I have no stick controls, Gem no squid form, me no squid form.
So I'm running
Those are the
3 mains of run speed.
I'm already wearing run speed. The only problem is how the heck do I refill my ink tank?
You just kind of ice skate with this weapon.
Oh, this is gonna be hard. Oh my lord.
Wait. The only way that I can approach their baskets is over their fan. Because I can't swim up walls.
Oh my god, okay, this is actually making me motion sick.
Oh, wow.
It's because I can't keep it still.
This is not going to be very successful.
No, okay, god.
Yeah, don't do something if it's making you sick, Debbie.
I'm just literally hardly even touching the right stick. I can't aim. I might have to just turn it down to 1.
Combat movement is really hard when you can't swim.
I think I forgot that I couldn't swim a bit there, so I just took my hand off of ZR, or ZL. Oh, you, okay, thanks. I made a friend, guys! Oh my god. Oh yeah, I can't swim. Hey, Jamie!
Alright, so I walk up here, I hit this thing.
I can't, I'm trying.
No! I made it all the way to the enemy plat, guys. Are you proud of me?
Good job. How? Did you go up the fan?
Yeah, you have to go up. So to get on the fan, you go up the ramp. Okay, they teleported.
Ledge physics. Oh, Lord.
No way. Wait.
Hang on. How do I throw a clam like this? Oh my god. I got it!
Oh, we actually got lead. Thank you, Jamie, for being the only
One that can squid.
the only player that can do things.
Oh no. home now.
Oh, that was so close to getting a
You know
double.
what sucks? I can't even cancel my charge.
Oh yeah.
I
you
was
can
not
can't
thinking.
you substrafe? Oh no, because you
Uh,
can't
I can't
swim.
cancel my charge. I didn't think about that.
Can you like hold the sub button and then jump?
Okay, maybe I can cancel it with that.
Oh right, no map. Shoot.
No, you're fine. There is no map restriction. It was just it was just control. Oh no.
Oh right, you've got stick controls, don't you?
Yeah.
Oof.
I just looked at the restrictions and there was no map redemption.
People kept saying no map.
I looked at the things. Like, here, I'll read it off in the queue. There's 2 no squid forms and a stick controls for me. There's no map.
Whew. Honestly, all things considered, I am proud of how well I was able to play that.
I am turning my stick control sensitivity down to like frickin' -2.
Okay. We'll do one more and then call it
There
for the
were
stream.
3 carbons.
I'll just save Debbie some some heartbreak here, if you would like. I can.
No,
just...
Jamie saved us both.
Oh, okay. So we'll just move it down to Chibi, and go from here before anyone can start and do more things.
Oh my god, my head.
Rainmaker, Inkblot. Join us? You guys aren't even doing the same thing anymore. Who am I joining then? Why do people want to see the gem squeezer so much? It's not that good. Like,
They must have just popped off with it last stream, I think.
I had like one game where it worked kind of well, and then like 3 games after that where it did not work kind of well.
What's all in the queue now?
Heka says, it's your weapon. What? I mean, I guess I did purchase one from Sheldon at one point.
Okay, so all of the requests have just been done. So now everything will be on track. It's actually kind of crazy at how much you get used to motion controls, and then it's stick controls that make you dizzy. Because it used to be the other way around when I first started, but then I got used to motion, and wow,
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
that was nuts.
I don't know how that missed.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi. Alrighty, well, here they come.
All right, I have this one. Oh, Hecka just did it. Oh, okay.
We had 2 people there. What happened?
I don't know. I was trying
Y'all
to
just
back up.
looked at it.
They were shooting. I was trying to refill my ink tank, and I was watching Hecka, and I was like, Hecka, this could be bad. So I was gonna get in a position to defend if Hecka went down. And
It's not bullying if you call him a madman. That's actually a compliment.
and Hecka just kills it.
Okay, I'm mad. I want to replay on that one. We're gonna.
Now it's a 4v4.
We're just gonna really quick. Oh yeah, it can't be. Who was? It was me, Glowstick, and who was the other one? Beyond Destroyer, right?
Mm-hmm. It was me, Hecka, and Jamie, or some guy.
All right. Video game. Yeah, the auto mod is insane. Hecka, you madman, gets struck for bullying. That's a compliment.
But the bot doesn't know that.
Who in 2021 is going out there and calling someone a madman and meaning it negatively? Who was doing that in 2012? Whose idea was this?
Yeah, here's the thing. Who updates the bot's filter? Probably no one.
But it doesn't need to be updated. Like, updated
Even
from
then-
what it was at 2012 when Twitch came into existence. Like,
Even
this was
then,
not
it
a
just
time
doesn't-
period where people were using the word madman. And it was
just
not by
doesn't make-
people who used the word madman in a negative fashion. It doesn't make any sense.
It's just, yeah.
I thought it was out of range.
Bye, Jerry.
All right, so starting much the way the first game did.
Oh no. I didn't know how to move around the Rainmaker. It's like, where's it going? You want to know what's hilarious? We pushed to 35 and it went all the way back to mid by our own people.
Ow. Yeah, I kind of forced them out with the inkjet. They had to drop off.
Oh, well, this looks interesting. Gotcha.
It's aiming too high.
Rainmaker backwards.
Oh, I would not push that if I were you. Oh boy.
Who's this? Oh my lord, oh, that's a gem. There's also a gem jet. Oh, I should have kept my charge going. I had you.
Eh, I went down anyway.
Go forward,
Oh,
go
no.
forward. Go forward. Go forward. Yes! Oh, not again. How many ink jets have you had so far?
Some.
Some. I think that's number 4, isn't it?
I'm not on spectator view. I couldn't tell you.
I've seen at least 3 of them and tried to shoot them down. One I did not try to shoot down.
Darn. Couldn't get out of it.
Squeeze
Cover.
Bad. I knew they were there too.
Hey, cut that out. No. Jamie, stop that.
Good job, Jamie. Keep bullying. Whoever has these bubbles, though. Got you. I was one shot.
I didn't even mean to move the way I did, too.
Oh. That's a hammer. That's a jump.
Ugh. That's a Jamie.
This looks good.
You're doing an admirable job of staying alive, but...
They were. Whoever had the Rainmaker on your guys' end did a lot of movement.
So there it is. 7 ink jets.
Yeah, you got those first 4 really quick. I was just like, I feel like I just saw this.
All right, GG's everybody. I think part of it is that you get a special charge when the Rainmaker is on
I
your
think
side.
that was it. But yeah, no, like every time I saw you, you were in inkjet, and I was like, how do you have this already? It's like a Neo Sploosh missling constantly.
So thank you everybody for watching. That has been Squid School. We do this every Tuesday from 3 to 5 Arizona time. So actually, the next time that we see each other, it will be a little bit off because of daylight savings time. Arizona does not do daylight savings. They are always on Mountain Standard Time. So right now, Mountain Standard Time is equivalent to Pacific Daylight Time, but we'll actually be shifting to, you know, the equivalent of Mountain Standard Time. So it will be an hour earlier than it usually is compared to everybody else's time zones. So hopefully that you're able to navigate that a little bit. If you're a little bit confused, then just after November 7th, Saturday, so after the time zones change, after we change our clocks, make sure to check it out and see what time it is in Arizona if you're being thrown for a loop by all this.
Yeah, the thing where you change clocks, but yet I've got to change all of the time zones again.
Yeah, Devi is in another region of the world that happens not to do daylight savings, so Devi is going to be additionally confused. Anyway, tomorrow will be the MOBA show, I believe. I think Coach Simon has got something worked up here, but he'll be making announcements about that in the League of Legends channel of the Bravous Community Discord server. So you can check this out for updates on that. And then Thursday, we will be doing a little bit more Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I think at some point we're going to be switching it up to play Slap City, but not before we're able to play with Avery and Steve, our head of marketing. They have both got a copy of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and I'm really looking forward to playing with them and teaching them some of the stuff that we've learned over the last month or so. So that should be a fun time. And again, anybody who plays Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, please come check that out, play with us. Be happy to bring you guys onto the stream and get some games going. I'm a big fan of the game right now. It gives me happy Melee feelings, so very cool. On top of that, I'm sure you are aware we have a YouTube channel. Today, I might be streaming on my personal channel, which is twitch.tv/strata_gem. And if we do, what I would be doing is actually VOD reviewing myself. That's what we're going to be. Well, actually, no. That was the plan until we had a tryout scrim today. So we'll be definitely recording the tryout scrim today. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. So in 40 minutes. I should probably eat dinner before that.
Pom-poms, guys.
So that'll be a lot less professional, polished, clean. But if you're interested in seeing how I play on my competitive team, called Team Watercolor, then that would be the place. This will be one of our only practices that we get to have before we compete at the Ludi seeding tournament. Ludi is a league where you get ranked based on the placement that you get in the seeding tournament, and then you play in a league over a while, a couple months, against teams of a similar skill level. And there are playoffs if you do really well in your groups, and it's information that tournament organizers use to seed each team into their respective skill brackets. So it's a really important tournament series to be in for a new team like ours. So that should be pretty fun, and we'll be starting to stream those every match that happens once that gets going. The seeding tournament is this Saturday, November 7th, and then after that, we'll have to schedule it individually with each team that we play against. So who knows when all of that'll be, but that's the fun of Ludi. You learn how good your team is at scheduling.
Here's to potentially seeing you and Flutie.
Bravous has a YouTube channel? What?
Sunday.
Yes, Bravous Esports on YouTube. We do a whole bunch of content, tutorial content on how to improve in ranked mode in Splatoon, as well as some other little featurettes here and there. The next video that I am probably going to put out will be on the ranking system in Splatoon 2 and my opinions on what I actually really like about it and what I want to see in Splatoon 3. That is scripted. I still have to put it together, edit it together, but I'm going to be trying to get that out probably by the end of this month if I can help it. No promises, because heaven knows those projects take a lot longer than I ever anticipate they will, but that's my thinking at the moment. So I will catch y'all later. I think I've plugged as much as I can plug. So thank you everybody for watching, and I am going to just check really quickly because we've been working on a pre-approved list of people that we can go and raid because we're really trying to make it family friendly and stuff. But we'll send you off to Barry. This is, for those who are less familiar with the competitive scene, the Barry is a member of a team called Element R. Him and Milana are two very, very popular Splatoon streamers and have been an extremely positive and welcoming part of the community ever since they gotten started. So we're going to send you all off to Barry. Everybody
And
say
he's a
hi.
backline.
Yes, a backline player. He's a Charger main. Off we go. All right. Bye, everybody.
Later.